Hello, and welcome back to Closings and Cuddles. My name is Karen Barrios, and today I'm here with my co-host, Ray Barrios.
What's up, everybody?
Today we're going to talk about
the PMC elections and the results.
Ooh. Okay, well, let's jump right into it. So June 17th, we had our annual members and organization meeting. We've had, as you know, a ton of escrows. We've closed on quite a few homes in the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
Listed quite a few homes in the last couple of weeks. We've sold over 15 homes this year already, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And, but we thought this was going to be important.
Yeah, this is important. Well, it's local, right? These are local politics. We have CC&Rs and bylaws, and all those things absolutely affect property value in the mountain. So the people that are determining those bylaws and those CC&Rs and how how those documents are kind of amended over time are going to definitely affect the overall, the median sales price of a home up there.
Yes.
As we can see, STRs were completely prohibited. So we have a full STR prohibition in the mountain. That tanked our market for a little bit. We've stabilized out.
That contributed absolutely to it.
Yeah, 100%. So once it tanked after doing that, there was some other things, other things were factored into it. But because we're in a vacation market, that's huge. You don't ever want to affect that. It's a huge component to vacation markets.
Yeah, just because we were one of the mountain communities still in Southern California that had that I guess, amenity or opportunity in comparison to, there are limitations in Lake Arrowhead, there are limitations in Big Bear.
But they have a path.
Correct.
Yeah.
But there is an opportunity for you to still do that. And when it was completely banned moving forward, it really did affect our market, our real estate market. And any real estate agent in the mountain will absolutely share with you the data because it did impact us very much.
Yeah.
And it was something that happened very quickly on top of the economy, on top of raising interest rates. There are different sides of this is the one thing that I'm not going to be neutral on because it definitely did affect home prices up in the mountain.
Objectively.
And as a homeowner, it affected us. It affected really any of our clients, future and sellers and future buyers. Again, anybody that already owns a property could still operate as a short-term rental, but anybody that purchases after January 15th of 2022 can no longer operate an AirBnB, a Vervo, which is another word for short-term rental.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the reason we're bringing this up is because these people essentially have power to pass things like that, which will affect the value of your home because the CC&R is essentially a part of the house. It comes with the package. You can't buy the house without the community rules. That goes hand in hand. So the people that are voting on that stuff, it's important to know, like, hey, new people are in. There's a nice, healthy level of debate now happening within that board of directors. Mm-hmm. We're seeing it with some of their early votes that are kind of happening real time. And because of that, we know that there's gonna be healthy conversation and debate around certain budgets that are passed, the way they want to handle the remodel of the clubhouse, the way they want to handle a path to short-term rentals. All of those things are going to have a direct impact on the sales, the home sale prices up in the mountain.
Correct.
So that's why we're covering it, because is it going to affect you guys tomorrow? No, it's not. It's not going to affect you tomorrow. It's not going to affect you next month. It may not even affect you for the 2 years or the 3 years that the new people are in there. But at some point, it's going to be a trickle. Like, you're going to slowly see how their decisions affect the community and the way the rules are built and voted on. And then those rules the way those rules are implemented, if it turns buyers off, then yeah, it's going to affect home prices up there. So that's why we're talking about it.
Yeah, I think the CC&Rs, which if you don't know what that is, it stands for covenants, conditions, and restrictions, cover the rights and obligations of the property owner association to its members and vice versa. And often CC&Rs cover legal issues such as, property use, restrictions, so on and so forth. And it will affect us how these board members vote. I mean, very in real time. The one, again, they pass regulation all the time, and they, every single meeting, there's different talks and there's different things that they're either in favor or against, and that are passed. But we recently saw one of the biggest that impacted a lot of our community was the Pine Mountain Club 2023 to 2024 assessment, which used to be 1788, but now it's 2928.
1928.
Sorry, 1,788, and now is 1,928. What did I say?
1728.
Yeah, okay. No. And again,
cool,
remember, it's due July 1st. So it's due this week.
Yeah.
So you need to get it. This podcast is going to be airing the week of July 1st. So you need to make sure that you go and pay your assessment, that it gets completed. You could do it online. We had a little hard time doing it online, but you could go in person. We always just love doing it in person. We did a couple of weeks ago.
I'm not even going to endorse online, because then people are going to be like, man, you told me to go online. It was so confusing.
I know, it was a little confusing for us, and we're super tech savvy. And
the website's just
we called, and it was just too much. So just go in person or mail it in, or figure out a payment plan with the association.
Throughout the year,
And, but again, going back to the CC&Rs, the covenants, conditions, and restrictions, these are very real things that the board members, and why the PMC elections are so important, the board members are going to be the ones against or for these, future.
Right.
And they're going to be in charge of the votes. So we have 3 new board members. They're all volunteer, not just the new members, but the existing members. So thank you, all board members, for all your support, all of your volunteerism. I don't know if that's a word.
That's a word.
And all of the efforts that go behind it, no matter where you stand on different issues. I think that it's incredible that people are willing to give that much of themselves for the benefit of the entire community. So, but I do appreciate that already you're seeing a little bit of pushback from the status from the. I think that it's just good in general to have a mix of ideas, mix of just perspectives, and to change things, even if things potentially may stay the same, or people vote against, similar individuals or the same status quo. Like it's good to at least have the dialogue and people start having. And maybe these new board members coming in is empowering other board members to vote differently. Mm-hmm. So, and not from the perspective where maybe they couldn't do it, but maybe it's just more now they're like, okay, I see that perspective, right?
Yeah, totally.
So, because even when they did the Meet the Candidates a couple weeks ago before they voted for everybody, so Meet the Candidates essentially, and if you go to your portal on the Pine Mountain Club, I believe the YouTube videos are available there, and was essentially all the 6 candidates that
were up for election.
Yeah. They all talked about their
just like their stance, their resume, all that
their
stuff.
resumes, what they're all about. And there was one out of all of them, I think, was the only existing director. And there was a couple of times where I felt like he nodded and maybe he was like, listening to other perspectives. And not that maybe his perspective was wrong or right. We don't like to talk about that in our podcast. It's just more from the perspective of like, I think that it's good to have fresh ideas. It's good to have people from different backgrounds, because all of these individuals have a different even resume as far as what they went to school for.
Pretty diverse, yeah.
Very diverse
background for sure.
Yeah, just a little bit more diversity. Yeah. I think that really helps.
Yeah, and they all, different industries, different experiences, different resumes. So I actually thought it was a good thing to just, they all just had different expertises, and they're all seasoned career professionals and whatever it is they did prior to that. So I think they're going to bring a lot of value to the board of directors and the way they shape the rules and the covenants and the bylaws of the community moving forward, which is good.
So I think that it's really important for us, and we wanted to just kind of prematurely talk about how this could, affect buyers and sellers and homeowners. We're homeowners. Yeah. And because whatever the board chooses to pass or deny, and is going to have an effect, like the short-term rental. I know there was even in meeting the candidates that were talking about, of course, the the 5-year plan with the clubhouse updates, they were talking about the Condor Cafe and the revenue that it brings in. Like they were talking about some key important things, the Equestrian Center. There's a lot of information and perspectives that were brought up in that meeting. And you got to see a little in a short time, kind of what the potential board members think. And obviously out of those 6, 3 were voted. So if you want to go back and kind of get the perspective on the people that won, you could reference that back and kind of get an idea of what they will support.
Right.
Or what direction they would go.
Yeah, totally. So I think in summation, right, to sum up our thoughts, it's not going to affect the market, at least not now. Things are still popping off up there. Like it's still, we're selling a ton of houses. There's still a ton of houses being sold every week. The year started off slow, but as always, it's a bell curve, right? Like we go from our cold season to our warm season, and then we go back into our cold season again. And that's kind of how the housing market goes. There's always deals, regardless of the time. But
regardless of the season, we always have deals.
Yeah, summer picks up, and we're seeing that. So even with high interest, new board getting voted in, bears running around rampant, breaking into people's houses, people are still buying houses up there, and people are still selling, and the market hasn't stopped. It hasn't halted. It hasn't froze up. Interest hasn't faltered. It's still climbing, if anything, and people are still buying up there. So I would still say we have a healthy market. It's a vacation market, but it's doing pretty well still. And I think the board of directors, in my opinion, I don't have any predictions. I don't know what's going to happen with that. But I think it is nice that we're going to have some new dialogue and discussion and a couple people butting heads. Sometimes no change is the best change, if you don't want to do something super radical. So I think it actually might be good for the community and people that are moving in recently. Like, I think they're going to have a refreshing couple seasons in the future as the board votes on some pretty exciting things like the clubhouse.
Yeah, I know some of our clients, especially the ones that were in escrow or that are looking, they're like, what are all these signs? And, I see name of this person and that person. Who are they? What's happening? And because a lot of times, as soon as people think of Pine Mountain Club, they think HOA.
Yeah.
They don't think POA. A lot of people are not used to that concept of a property owner association run and elected by owners. And
it's like a city council.
It's like,
Ever been to those meetings?
I don't.
It's just like
this is the thing. This is actually fun. When I was in high school, I was in the student body government.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Associated students. Yeah, associated students. Yeah. So since I was a freshman, I was just always that person that was involved, and I won really big elections. Hey,
I only know because
is there a foreshadow here? I'm just kidding.
I was that close to winning. The logo for Sunland Tahunga. I was that close to being the person that made it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, how come I don't know this about you?
And I remember going to a meeting. It was just like this one. Is like a bunch of the involved community members. So they tend to be an older demographic, and they all sit in a room, and there's a board in the front, and then they vote on the logo. But it was just like ours, except that was a city council. It wasn't a POA, but it was still like the parliamentary system. All that was the same.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm used to So when I'm watching some of these PMCPOA board meetings, when it's like meeting, how do they say meeting it?
When they do minutes and everything, like quorum, all that stuff.
Or they do like motions. Like some of it comes back to me a little bit, and it's almost like whoa, deja vu, because I'm back at like being 15 years old, like being like associated. Whatever, secretary, senator, mayor, whatever I was, mayor. I forgot I had held so many positions, but I would always do a ton of really cool marketing.
Yeah, and
people would vote for me. It was the greatest thing. I would always win my elections, which is awesome. So
you should run for the next board of directors election in like 2 years.
Boom, 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 boom.
Oh snap.
Dun, 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 dun.
We don't have time to do that.
Shall Karen vote? Well, shall Karen be elected for best realtor in Pine Mountain? Yes, she should.
Let's go.
No, I think that we appreciate all the members right now that are volunteering their time. We have a lot on our plate already. And I think that there's, of course, room for growth and room for opportunity. And when you feel called to something, especially us, we're the type of people, when we feel called to something, we make it happen. So, and when we don't, it's just not sometimes it's just not where we have to be. So best realtor in the mountain. This is definitely us.
As we depart from memory lane, we'd just like to thank you guys for tuning in. And hopefully this was helpful.
We just want to talk a little bit about the results.
For sure. And
what it would mean.
It's all good news. Everything is 72 and sunny in Pine Mountain Club. We're still selling houses. If you need help with it, please reach out to us. But yeah, hopefully this episode was helpful and you got to peek into our election system over the last couple of weeks. Because if you're planning on moving here, then you're going to be a part of it. You're going to get your ballot in the mail.
You're going to be part of the Facebook groups.
Part of the groups. You're going to see everybody go back and forth. It's hilarious at times.
Be prepared. It's a small but big town.
Small but big town. But thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll catch you in the next one.
Bye.